Hi, Makayla. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. All right, guys, this is Makayla Justice, and this is episode three of the interview series for the Closer Look Project. So, I'm going to, in this interview series, of course, we connect with inspiring professionals in the beauty industry who are making a difference in skin health awareness. So, today we are thrilled to welcome Makayla Justice, a board certified licensed cosmetologist, licensed esthetician, and a dedicated instructor whose love for the beauty industry began long before her formal career. Growing up surrounded by the salon world with her mom and her various salons, Makayla learned the ropes behind the counter of her mom's business. That early exposure sparked a passion not only for mastering her craft, but also for empowering others with it. After completing both cosmetology and aesthetics school, Makayla quickly built a reputation for her skill and dedication. But in 2024, she discovered a new calling, which was teaching. Her approach to education blends real-world experience with an authentic connection to her students, creating a learning environment that's as empowering as it is practical. Specialized in advanced skincare treatments, including customized facials, microdermabrasion, dermaplaning, and waxing, Makayla is known for her hands-on expertise and her commitment to honesty, integrity, and helping clients feel beautiful and confident in their own skin. We're so excited to have her join us today to share her insight, her passion, and her perspective on skin health in the beauty industry. So please join me in welcoming Makayla Justice to episode three of the Closer Look Project interview series. So I'm so excited that you're here and that you're doing this interview with me. You're the first esthetician slash cosmetologist that I've done an interview with so far.
Excited
So
to be here.
thank you. All right, so let's start with you. I just introduced you a bit, so you can share with the viewers kind of about yourself and what drew you to aesthetics.
My name is Makayla Justice. I was born in Logan, West Virginia. I now live in St. Albans, West Virginia. After graduating high school, I went to college at our local community college. I just felt very unsettled. Like, I just didn't know what I wanted to do. I was confused. And after my first year, I decided that I wanted to go to aesthetic school because I loved makeup. I wanted to do event makeup, things like that. So when I started, I quickly fell in love with the skincare and facial side of it, which was very different for me because I had just had a basic routine and I had never really had skin problems. So it just wasn't an interest of mine, but it quickly became that for me. And I don't even do makeup now. So
Yeah. Did anyone discourage you from going into the field? Like, obviously, your mom is a hairdresser and she's owned salons and she's been in it for a long time. Did she think this was like a crazy idea to go into it because she knew that it was hard, or did you feel supported?
She definitely really supported me. She definitely encouraged it. There were a lot of people that didn't, that had their opinions, and so I had went back and forth on it and was like, well, maybe I shouldn't do it, or maybe I should just do it, as a second career and still do college and things like that. But my mom
Yeah,
just was very supportive and said, you got to follow your dreams. If that's
good.
not for you, that's okay. Like,
Yeah, that's true. And so, what is your favorite service or treatment that you perform? And kind of tell us also like what you're doing currently as far as you're a cosmetologist, you're an esthetician, you're a teacher. So tell me like kind of what you're doing there in that space.
So my favorite service that I offer is definitely a customized facial. I like doing the microdermabrasion if they have more acne prone skin, and we do extractions. I like ending it with high frequency. That's definitely my favorite. Right now, I work 9 to 5 at the beauty school teaching aesthetics, and then in the evenings, I take my own clients at the owner of the beauty school. She has a shop across the street, so I'm the esthetician there. I take
Good.
appointments in the evenings, and I don't love doing hair. I try not to do it. I do friends and family occasionally, but
Yeah. That's okay. I'm glad that you found what you want to do though, and you can do it. So, do you personally know anyone who has been diagnosed with skin cancer? And if you do, how did it affect you or your family or friends?
so my grandmother actually passed away from skin cancer when I was 11 months old. So I didn't know her, but I have heard stories my whole life of just it's very different because of religious belief. She wore like long skirts and dresses, so her body wasn't exposed to the sun. She never tanned in the tanning bed, things like that. Whereas I have an aunt who was in the early 2000s era. She tanned every single day, probably multiple times a day, and now she's in her 40s, and is constantly having to go to the dermatologist and get places checked on her, and she just recently had two places on her face taken off and things like that. So it's kind of two different aspects of it that hit close to home. So now I'm able to teach my students that, this does cause it, but you also need to take preventative methods because it can just happen also.
That's so true.
Beds and things.
I didn't know that your grandma had, was it melanoma, or I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I mean, I may have, but I must have forgot. Yeah. What are your thoughts on skin cancer as a concern for clients in the aesthetic industry as well?
It concerns me because I think that people don't realize how important it is to know. I think that people in this industry don't realize in school it's a big chapter, but it's just a chapter. Like, no one ever teaches you that it is important to know how to identify and what it looks like. I think us as cosmetologists, estheticians, nail techs, we see parts of people's body that a lot of people don't get seen. And so I think it's important to know that. And I think as clients, it's important to be aware that we're looking out for that as well for you.
Yeah, good. I think a lot of people, by accident, they'll see a spot that looks funky. They tell the client, and the client may accept that. They may not. That's up to them at that point. But no one realizes like the comfort level first that these clients give you, right? They'll get naked in front of you. I think you do spray tans too, right?
I do, yes.
So I mean, they'll get butt naked in front of you, right? Mm-hmm. So probably more comfortable with you than they are a provider, a nurse practitioner, a PA, or a physician. So I think that making sure that people in your industry know that, like people that work in that field, making sure that they know it is very important. Like in being intentional with taking a look. You don't have to do a full exam or anything like that, right? But just like taking an extra second and looking and seeing if anything looks off. So I think that's super important, like what you just talked on. When you see a client who has a lesion or a mole that looks kind of funky, what characteristics would have you as the esthetician concern and make you want to say something?
Dark, uneven edges, things that look abnormal. I mean, a lot of my clients I see monthly, so it's something that I do take note of and put in their client chart, just so if I do like see a place that kind of looks, a little like something that should be noted, I'll take a note of it and continuously, like anytime they come back to me, check on it to make sure it's not looking worse or anything like that.
Mm-hmm. Good. And
I always am subconsciously looking out for it. I don't always bring it up. If I do see something that I think needs to be brought to their awareness, I will. I do encourage all of my clients to like regularly check places, and if they have questions, they could always ask me, and I can't diagnose, but I can refer them to see a specialist.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's like there will be some pushback from providers. That's just how the world is. There's pushback from physicians to nurse practitioners and PAs. Like that's just the world. So making sure that they are aware that I'm not trying to have you guys diagnose or even to be able to say this is a basal cell carcinoma, but just being mindful of if something changes, you say something. So the whole slogan of the Closer Look Project is see something, say something. And so that's all that it is. So I think you have a really good perspective on that. Have you ever noticed a suspicious mole or spot on someone? And if you did you recommend that they go see a dermatology provider? And then, what happened from there?
I haven't noticed anything on anyone yet. I hope I never do, honestly.
Yeah.
But I think this became more serious for me when I noticed a place on myself and went and got it checked, just because I think the older you get, the more you care. And for a while, I didn't care, and I did do tanning beds. So I think now that I am more aware, I do care more. That's why I do the self-tanning and, spray tans, just because it's not worth it at the end of the day.
Yeah. So was it okay, the spot you had?
Yes.
Good. Okay. Yes. Your risk is much higher since your grandma had melanoma. That's great. I hope you don't have to encounter that too. That'd be good. So what types of resources would be most helpful for you in recognizing signs of skin cancer? So what I mean is like a poster or maybe a checklist or even like image references. Would those things be helpful for you? What do you feel like would be the best for you?
Yeah, I definitely think like a mini version of a checklist with pictures, something to keep on like our product card that's right by like where we're doing our services and things like that, to just reference and look at. I think it would be very helpful for my students to include those on their carts in our practical room.
Awesome. Is skin assessment something that you consciously think about during your exams? I know you said that you're always kind of subconsciously looking, but are you like consciously thinking, I need to look at their scalp, or I need to look at their face, or whatever you're working on that day?
It is now. It wasn't for a long time, but I think, especially now that I am an instructor and I have, I'm relearning the chapters myself and all the things. I think I do look at it more. I understand the importance of it more now, and so I also don't want it to be just another chapter in my class. I want them to know, so for them to know, I have to know.
I love that. So can you see yourself participating in the Closer Look project in an educational role?
Yes. From the moment I saw it being talked about and posted, I was instantly intrigued. I think, especially that I'm in the education side of it, I think I would love that for sure.
Yeah, awesome. So in the works right now are some modules and video educational sources, basically like me and some other providers talking about basics and why it's important, statistics and anatomy, and the descriptions of a lesion. So, I think that would be really cool to have you, do something like that if you saw yourself doing it. But I agree. You have so much more, validity as an instructor and someone who's always studying these things and trying to make sure that you know it. So yeah, I think that would be awesome. Perfect. If we offered workshops covering skin assessment, client communication, or the referral process, do you think that would benefit estheticians? Why or why not?
Yes, 100%. I feel like I'm repeating myself, but like I said, it was just a chapter that was just brushed off. I mean, it was for me.
Yeah.
I know it was for my mom. So I think it would be beneficial. I think estheticians do need to know. I think they need to know and practice it as well, of like looking for it. And
yeah, I agree. I mean, everybody's in nursing school. We went through a little short blurb about, what melanoma looks like, ABCDE. That's the only thing that we talked about. And even when I became a nurse practitioner and started working in dermatology, it took me a long time to be able to accurately diagnose something without a biopsy. And so without being intentional about those things and it being your daily routine, like you said, then it becomes in the back of your mind. I think just being intentional about it and just keeping those references will be really, really important. So I never expect someone without a medical background to have extensive dermatology training. Like that's just the basics of it. So would you say that you have like a basic understanding of skin anatomy?
I think so. Now that I am a teacher, we take new students the first Monday of every month, so I'm constantly reteaching the same chapters over and over again.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, so things that I may have not realized the last time I taught it, I see it more now.
Yeah. What advice would you have for estheticians or esthetician students that are kind of struggling with like the anatomy of skin?
I think really taking time to read it for yourself, to deep dive into it, research, like do your own research to get to know it better, try to figure out your own body better. I think sometimes it's easy to feel unqualified because we're not dermatologists, but it's still important for us to know because, we see more people's bodies than probably most.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I would say 10 times more. I would say that you see someone 10 times more than I do in a year, if not more than that. You said you're seeing people once a month.
Right.
For me, every 6 months, maybe. That's if they have a history. Every year, otherwise. So, yeah, I absolutely agree with that. And if you get any pushback ever, you just tell them that your friend Caleb, nurse practitioner in dermatology, values your experience. And I think it's so true. I always had patients, say my hairdresser, my esthetician, my nail tech, saw this spot and they want you to look at it. And 8-9 times out of 10, it would be cancerous. You may not know, like I said, you may not know that it's a basal cell, but it's funky. And so that's the whole premise of this is seeing something and saying something. So I know that you told me that you had taken the skinny on skin class, and I did it myself actually. It was really short. I got the certification. It was good. It was informative. I think it mostly targets melanoma, but it highlights on basal cell and squamous cell as well. Other than that or school, do you feel helped you the most as an esthetician? Whether that was self-study, school, continuing education, or even the skinny on skin, what do you think was most helpful for you?
I think self-study. I think that whenever I got into teaching, there was a lot that I realized I knew the foundational part
Mhm.
of it, but there was just so much more to it. So I think taking time for myself to continue my education, online classes. I did like the Skinny on Skin. I make all my students do that as well. I do wish there were more things like that.
Hmm. Yeah, I agree. Because, I'd like to see your chapter that you have on it. But, from an esthetician standpoint versus like a dermatology standpoint, are they teaching you this is what melanoma looks like, this is what basal cell looks like, or is it just this is normal, so you should know what abnormal is?
It's more so this is normal, this is
Mm-hmm.
what abnormal,
Okay.
because the chapter also talks about a ton of other things. So it's just a brief
Yeah.
topic within the chapter.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I would love to see that. I think so too. I think other additional resources will be good. That's why the Closer Look Project is working on that. So hopefully that can be something that benefits you and your students soon. Do you think that you would enjoy, we already kind of talked about this, but do you think that you would enjoy a short focus study module that's tailored for personal care professionals?
Yes, 100%. I'm always looking for other resources to add to my lesson plans. The book can be boring. I don't learn
Yeah.
like that very well, so I like other resources to add into the lesson so that they can be more real life for them, honestly.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's always different from a book to real life setting, like you said. So let's talk about sun protection. What do you currently recommend for your clients to protect their skin from sun damage?
I recommend an SPF of 30 or higher. I personally love the Dermalogica Invisible Physical Mineral Sunscreen. I use
Mm-hmm.
it every day, so I
Yeah.
typically, it's my tried and true, so that's what I recommend. I also recommend little tips of reapplying often. If you're outside, don't wear your hair parted. Try to wear it back.
Mm-hmm.
My scalp used to burn really bad. Don't forget your ears and your
Yeah.
lips, and then your neck, your décolleté, your hands. Those are things that people often forget, but they
Yeah.
show signs of aging fast, and it's very exposed as well. So
Yeah. Your décolleté. I love that. There's very good. So we just talked about what you recommend. Do you think that that covers your top three sun protective tips? Are those your top three?
top three would be that sunscreen isn't just for sunny days; it's for rainy days, snowy days, every day. To reapply often and think about those areas. It's not just your face. So
Yeah, that's so true. I think those are really good tips. That's good because people don't realize that. Like they think, oh, it's fall, it's wintertime, so we don't have to worry about it anymore. But you do. And I still wear my sunscreen. My office is next to a window, so I wear sunscreen when I'm inside even. And I know that's something that people may not hop onto because it's a lot of work. But yeah, I think just being mindful of your exposure is really important.
I think once you understand what sunscreen is, it's not you're applying it and you're good to go all day. I think
Yeah,
you get a better, you use it better. You're more
yeah,
mindful.
that's very true. What SPF level or type of sunscreen do you recommend? I know you said that SPF 30, and you like personally mineral sunscreen, but what do you recommend to your clients?
Because that is my tried and true. That's typically
Yeah.
what I recommend. So an SPF 30 or higher, broad spectrum. Make sure you're covering all the areas, and if they have more of sensitive skin, that's where kind of the mineral side comes in. But
Mhm.
their skin's not
Yeah,
sensitive, then they should be good.
I agree. I think mineral sunscreen is much lighter,
Mm-hmm.
and so I would always recommend it to my patients who had acne
Mm-hmm.
or texture because it doesn't cake onto those textured areas, and it makes you look much smoother. And another kind of new development with sunscreen, of course, there's broad spectrum, which is your UVA, UVB. There's a new one that incorporates, like tinted sunscreens that have iron oxide in it,
Mm-hmm.
which protects against blue light. Even blue light is a type of light that causes damage as well, and it actually causes damage much quicker than the sun even, or UV. But yeah, there are lots of advancements with sunscreen, and I'm excited about that as it progresses. What is one thing that you believe every client should know about caring for their skin?
I would say the thing I preach the most is that consistency is key. You could have the most expensive skincare line, the best routine in the world, but if you're not consistent with it, then at the end of the day, it's kind of all for nothing. And
Yeah.
the same thing with sunscreen. You could have all of the best, but if you're not using sunscreen, then it's kind of not doing anything for you.
Mm-hmm. That's one of the pet peeves of like a lot of the providers that I worked with. They would always say like if you're getting Botox and filler but you're not wearing sunscreen, you're wasting your money.
Right.
You're wasting your money. So yeah, I totally agree with that. So please tell our viewers where you work, what your specialties are, and how they can contact you if they would like an appointment with you.
So I work at the Palm Beauty Academy in Cross Lanes, West Virginia. Then I also work at the Palm Salon and Spa in Cross Lanes doing spray tans, facials, back treatments, waxing, things like that. So I'd love for you to come see my students. We take clients there as well for them to get practice on. Or if you'd like to see me, you can reach out on Facebook. I'm on Instagram, or call me.
Great. And I'll share your links as well.
To my clients, I thank you for trusting me. To my students as well, thank you for trusting me, and for letting me share my knowledge with you, for taking it in if I do share it. And to other estheticians, I think it's important people don't know what you don't tell them. And so, it kind of is on you to share. So don't be scared to share. You could save someone's life.
Yeah, that's so true. Do you have any final thoughts or advice that you'd like to share before we wrap up?
Nope, I don't think so.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for joining, Makayla. I'm so glad that you were able to sit with me, and I cannot wait to share your interview with everyone.
Thank you. I'm so excited.
Thank you. Me too.
I'm proud of you.
Thanks, Michael.
Oh.
I do have a question. And if it doesn't like meet the what I like or whatever, we can just crop it. You do spray tans.
Yes.
Do you feel like that gives you a base SPF or no?
No. I get that question often. And a lot of people will come to me before they go to the beach and things like that. And even if they don't ask, I always say this is not, this doesn't make you exempt from sunscreen.
Right.
I don't think that it does anything like that. I mean, maybe that's just my personal opinion, but.
No, that's the correct answer. I'm very proud of you, actually. Do you think that a suntan gives you an SPF, or like a base tan gives you an SPF?
No, I think that you're still burning. You may not realize that you are, but you are at the end of the day. I think that no matter, it's the same as like I have brown eyes, so I don't feel like I need to wear sunglasses in the sun, but it's protecting my eyelids, it's protecting my eyes, things like that. That's kind of how I describe it.
Okay. I'm very pleased with your answers. Awesome. Okay. Let me stop recording.